I was going to do this as an upload, but because, well, technical difficulties, my fault. I couldn't. My hair looks like shit right now because it's really windy out here, and I was hanging out with Kay, and it was just, I mean, poof in your face. Anyway, yeah, I do look like shit, and the reason why is because I was also um, chopping onions. And okay, so we are here, we are live, we are cool. So Sparrow came out with some really good information about what's been going on at Lucasfilm, and it seems like things are calming down since Kennedy has been booted. But we have to remember that she was booted. It'll be three years in July. I mean, she basically said she had no no any she didn't have anything to do with decision makings at Lucasfilm for 2.5 years, and that was in when she said that was in December, and it was printed out. The interview was on deadline, printed out in January 16th, or January whenever. I mean, so yeah, okay, she's not there anymore. And first off, welcome if you're new. Hit the like, subscribe, share this out, get as many people here as possible. This is not a Star Wars shill channel. This is a Star Wars fan channel. And I'm one of those people who likes some of the things that they made. Okay? I hate the sequel trilogy. I hate Solo. I hate the woke shit, and I call them out for it. However, what I like, I'm going to like. Whether it be some parts of the Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, but for Reva, Ahsoka, but for Sabine, and that Harrison Dula and the side story with Sabine is just what the fuck, you know. But there you go. I'm going to be very honest. I'm not nerdrotic. I don't lie. I'm not critical drinker. I mean, he's been caught lying. All right. I'm not Jeremy Griggs. I'm not a phony. I hated The Last Jedi from the moment I heard the spoilers. I was horrified. But after seeing the way Lucasfilm behaved and the reaction they had to people criticizing it, changes had to happen. And we've been talking about now Doomcock is on the clock too. I'm gonna give you guys something. 4 years ago, he was the one, or no, it was earlier than that. I think it was 2020. He was the one, excuse me, who was screaming, we have to, or they're going to retcon or erase the sequel trilogy using the world between worlds. Then 2 weeks later, he says no. Make up your fucking mind. Either there or they're not, and stop playing with us. Okay. Did you even know you said that? So, this has been something that people have talked about for a long time. And yesterday, Star Wars Day, we had a great finale for Maul Shadow Lord. It was excellent. That's good peak Star Wars. There really is good peak Star Wars. And I think you guys, if you haven't seen it, see it. It's worth it. It's I hate saying I feel sorry for him because of what he did to Qui-Gon Jinn, and he does something extremely shitty in this too. I mean, so but it's good. I mean, it's really good. Sam Witwer can just stay doing voices. I personally dislike the guy. I think he's a know-it-all. I think he's very much unaware that he is not the coolest dude on the planet, and he's not a movie star. I mean, he's just a voice actor. That's all he is. So there you go. But it's good. Then we got the Nielsen ratings from last year. The top 10 movies and TV shows for Star Wars on Disney Plus. 33 billion minutes of viewer time. Most of over 40%, or about 40%, was the films. Not one sequel trilogy film. Now, first off, I want to tell you guys, I think that Disney purposely put that out there, right? I do. I also think they're trying to get people get ready for the sequels to be retconned. I mean, I've got something I want to show you guys. It's kind of, I kind of feel sorry for the girl, but I don't, and I'll put it in a short on my channel once we get it sorted out, Baz and me. But this is really a big deal, right? Because it just shows that the sequel trilogy audience does not exist. Everything Kennedy said was going to happen, all of it was a lie. Okay, she didn't. Well, it was her delusions. I'm not going to say it was a lie because she actually thought it was real. I mean, they made $2 billion, 2 point whatever billion on The Force Awakens. Why wouldn't she think it was real? But there were cracks in the armor when that movie came out. The sequel trilogy merch did not sell the way it was supposed to, right? And I've seen people complaining. This guy named Akash something or other on X whining like a bitch about they're gonna get rid of Ray because she doesn't sell any merch. She doesn't. It's a business decision. This is capitalism. Again, for the lefties and for the people who don't know, if you run a business, you have to make a profit. If you don't make a profit, you can't pay your people, you have to lay them off, and you go bankrupt. What's the point? All right. What's the point of keeping Ray around if she can't, turn a profit, if she can't sell merch? What's, point of keeping Kyle Ron around if he can't, turn a profit? Because he can't. I don't care. I mean, I had a Raylo screaming, he's the best character of the blah, blah. Shut up. Darth Emo, give me a fucking break. Go away. Blue-haired land whale, get the fuck out of my face. Right? Anyway, so there's that. Then, hey Bongo. Then the person that caused all the damage, I think, with Midnight's Edge, and that would be WDW Pro, comes out with something that I knew was going to happen, and Cameron knew that it was going to happen 4 years ago. That the executives are seriously considering, they didn't consider, they're going to do it, decanonizing and shoving the sequels to the side. This is a business decision. And even for the black pills screaming they spent too much money. All right, here's the deal. Because I saw someone go, they bought Lucasfilm for $4 billion. No, $4.3 billion. Okay, get it right. What did they invest? It wasn't 4.3. It was more like 10 or more billion. And the sequels did not make what you think they made. They didn't make 4 point something billion. That is the most asinine thing I've ever heard in my life. I mean, they made more like 1.7, maybe 2 billion. Okay, so really Lucasfilm is in a lot of trouble. When you've got this going on, you've got the Star Wars hotel being closed because it was what a fucking boondoggle. When you've got, their magical books that'll unify the canon being completely incongruent and stupid and have nothing to do with each other. The author's just a bunch of woke homos. no one's going to buy it. And no one did. Okay. Um, and don't sit there and say that people don't read anymore. Yeah, they do. They just weren't reading that shit. I mean, Disney had to go to Scholastic to get them to buy, uh, Justine Ireland's racist, anti-white, bigoted crap. It's like, so this was all going to happen. And of course, there are people that say, it'll never happen. Now let's go into the fandom. Okay, this is why I'm here and why Disney's being held hostage. This is going to be a long story. So back in 2018, when all hell broke loose after Soilo came out and everybody was picking sides, we had hi Nancy, hi Planet Musk, hi Zakiriel, hi. We had people who hated The Last Jedi, who were insulted, who were offended, who felt like George was getting kicked in the nads by Kathy and her round-headed toe sucker Ryan Johnson. And I'm like, okay, we were on that side, all of us, you name it, geeks and gamers, Nerdrotic, even though he wasn't that big, etc., etc. All of us were on this side. Then you had the blue pills. Star Wars Explained, and Jason Ward, who no longer does any of this, and others who were attacking us on behalf of Lucasfilm. If you want to know why people were getting banned from Twitter and going through all kinds of hell, it's because pretty sure that Jason Ward was doing it, was gathering the troops and trying to drive us, the fans, out. So Kathy's little brand new army of, blue-haired land whales could take over. Didn't work because there weren't enough of them, right? And it was a fucking war. I mean, but if your movies are so bad that they unite prequel fans and OG fans, your movies suck. Okay. And look, I mean, they were so bad. I'm now a prequel fan. They have stood the test of time. The sequels won't. Okay. Because they're just bad. I mean, people that even, kind of were like, yeah, they're okay, are now coming out saying they suck. All right. So you've got all this going on. And then, we started, Doomcock started saying he's heard rumors that this is going to happen and blah, blah, blah. Chuck Wendig, do you remember him? All right. Yeah. The guy that threatened Justice Kavanaugh got fired from Marvel for that and got his Vader comic taken away, whining on text, I got fired today. I'm going to go hug my kids. Well, go do it, asshole. Get the fuck out of my face. And he was one of the worst, right? And then before that, when Soilo came out, apparently, and this a big YouTuber, Grace Randolph, confirmed it. My friend Craig, if you remember Craig Johnson, he had a YouTube channel, and he basically said a friend of his at Lucasfilm, she is no longer there, so I can say she, basically said to him that there was a fight, a great big food fight going on between, it was a conference call between Lucasfilm California, USA, and Lucasfilm Britain, UK. And what was going on was John Lasseter, who had been the president of Pixar, and Kevin Feige were listening in with Bob Iger. Grace Randolph confirmed it, so it did happen. Right after that, Pablo Hidalgo, one of the biggest instigators and divisive jackasses on the planet, who blames everybody else for his bullshit, was like, he's still around, but that's a long story, Musk. I don't want to get into it. He goes on his X account or Twitter account, says in his bio, the parent company is evil or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, and all of you should yell at them. Billionaires should be disappeared and mulched. And then he put something else up. Broken windows with like boards on them, and then he left. He came back with a protected account, or the same account, a little while after. But what was going on, meanwhile, was the fandom started to kind of fracture. And the reason why is, in my opinion, is there were people who had big channels who wanted to be the sole arbiters of the news and information and what you could be a fan of or not. And it got worse and worse and worse and worse. And then this guy named WDW Pro, I know his name actually, who threatened Cameron Pasha on my channel, in my chat. And if I didn't take a screenshot, and I should have. But he basically threw his weight around enough to where Cameron basically said, fuck this shit, and left Midnight's Edge. Now he goes on Polly, the Latino Slants channel, and he goes on Sci-Fi for me, Jason Hunt and Mindy Hunt. And sometimes he shows up on the Writer Brothers and Lorena Creel, but he does not go on them because they treated him like shit. And he is the only person out there that had contacts with Lucasfilm. Now, we're supposed to believe that Tom Connors does. We're supposed to believe that Pro does. We're supposed to believe, that Doomcock does. And I think Doomcock's a lot more honest than those guys. And what we have here now is a bunch of people who bully people if they don't completely agree with them, who accuse you, Echo Base, of being a Disney show if you say you like the show. You can't just be a Star Wars fan who wants good Star Wars, right? Who says the sequel trilogies must be burned to the ground. Solo must be completely overwritten. No. They want you to hate every fucking thing, even if it's good. Okay? And no. And then when they've got people who actually kind of know how the business goes and they contradict the emotional, basement dwelling douchebag opinion with actual professional observations, they get pissed off, they get jealous, and they chase you out. All right. And when all that shit happened with Cameron, I basically told them all, go fuck yourselves. Okay. You can't act like an immature jackass and then have your chat be called out on it by someone that was helping you because it's disrupting the chat and you're not getting any points out because they're looking for information they're looking for attention. That's what's going on. All right. So then you get Nerdrotic. Huge channel. It runs around on repeat, Star Wars is dead. And I think he's read books about propaganda. The more you the more you say something that's a lie, the more people believe it's the truth. Joseph Goebbels, Hitler's propaganda minister, said that. And they chased a lot of really good people out. Craig won't come back. I'm here because fuck them. Fuck them. My channel is small. I would like to get up to 3,000, you know, subscribers again. You know, it's going to happen, but I'm not looking to do anything. And I noticed that because I did an experiment and I, you know, basically monetized my channel just as an experiment, and I discovered that you have to fuck around and fuck around and fuck around to make any money. I'm not going to do that. Okay, give you and the problem I have with these guys is that they think they're journalists. They're not. They're not even really good professional uh, commentators. I mean, Bill O'Reilly and you know Tony Snow, God bless his soul, uh, could run circles around them because they're not experienced. They're not well educated. They don't have the vocabulary, and they don't even know what words mean. And they don't really care about what they're talking about. They don't. They're not there because they have any loyalty towards George Lucas. You know, a lot of them have the same attitude about him and all the money he made as Pablo Hidalgo does. Billionaires should be disappeared and mulched. They really, really do. And I remember warning Jeremy Greggs saying, and I said to him, I repeated Friedrich Nietzsche, the longer you stare into the abyss will stare back at you. They have become what they hate. All right. Now it appears from what Sparrow said yesterday that Disney executives want to get rid of the sequel trilogy. They want to spin it off into some other dimension, never to be touched again, at least hopefully in our lifetime. But they're afraid to do it because of the Raylos. Look, if Dana Walden, Alan Bergman, and Josh D'Amaro were sitting in front of me, I'd say they are insignificant. They are inconsequential. There aren't enough of them. Look at the numbers. Okay, look at the numbers. They didn't buy the merchandise. They don't watch the movies. There's not enough of them to, make a difference. So who cares about them? The other problem is they're worried about the black pills, the fractured fandom menace, for what it's worth, raising hell with them for doing it. Now, everybody get back into their Wayback Machine. Do you remember when the first rumors that they were going to get rid of it using The World Between Worlds came out? Doomcock was the one that did it first. He even admitted it today on X. Do you remember that? I do. Everybody said yes, do it. Now, because there's such a bunch of vicious, hateful, uneducated, low, insecure little manlets that Disney's afraid to do it now. Afraid to do what we want them to do and have wanted them to do since The Last Jedi came out, right? We were told that by Sparrow. They said that was what was going on. Now, Pro again says they're going to, I think, spin the sequels off into another timeline using The World Between Worlds. Again, that's been out there. We've all known it. I've been told by one of my friends that a lot of sequel trilogy fans are accepting the fate that was well earned by Kennedy's bullshit and hubris. And you can go fuck yourself, Last Jedi dyke. That's how that goes. Blue pills get banned. Okay, that's it. Black pills get banned too. All right, that's the rule. All right. So, it's like, what do you guys want? So this is the question. And I dare any one of you guys when Gary's going off on a rant, or you're in the uh, you know, Midnight's Edge chat, do a super chat and ask, what is it that you want? What is it that you want? Because I think a lot of them actually think they can bankrupt Disney. They can't. All right, they're not going to bankrupt Disney. They're just, I mean, do you know how stupid that is? And has anybody noticed how much bigger the crowds were in Midnight's Edge since, or in Galaxy's Edge since Vader was wandering around? I watched the videos. Han, Luke, Leia, they can't even walk around. There's too many people. And it's like, what do you want? We want that. And oh, by the way, the when they split the numbers between age groups, Zoomers and Alpha want the OG. Okay, they don't like Rey, they don't like Darth Emo, and it's been said, and my husband is doing has done research for our parish council, because what you do is you try to get people to come to church, right? I mean, try to make it fun and cool. We have discovered, or the statisticians have, that alphas are the most conservative generation to come along in decades. My generation, the Gen X, we're libertarian, right? We're libertarian. Alphas are conservative, and they want George Lucas version Star Wars, not Kennedy's. Okay. Weirdly, Gen X watched Andor. I only had to watch it for the channel, and I tore it apart because it was garbage. Okay, woke garbage. Okay, it was more about the Hollywood hate of Donald Trump than it was about the galaxy far, far away. I mean, that fat dyke, what's her name, in the first season screaming, "Fuck the Empire," Andor's mommy. Um, Fiona Shaw is her name, actually. It's like, I know what this is. I don't like it. I don't like it. And, I'm sorry. So there you go. All right. Anyway, so what's going on is, I think Disney's basically being held hostage between a, between a, very insignificant band of psychopaths called the Raylos and the sequel trilogy fans, and very angry, illiterate fanboys who, look, the world has not been kind to white men, right? The Force is female. Every other character is either Black, Asian, Latino, or, whatever, blackwashing, redheads, the whitest people on the planet, etc. And it's very hard because that's a big narrative now. When you've got Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker, who's just a dirtbag, showing up on Piers Morgan, who is the king of all the grifters, by the way. You're looking at that going, Disney's going to have to do something about this. But it looks like it's almost comical that they're being held hostage and can't do what we want them to because they're worried about nerdrotic? What? They're worried about Jeremy Griggs and Ryan Cannell? They're worried about what? Talk to them. Instead of going, well, we really can't because no, talk to them. Have them. I mean, Jeremy lives in Florida. Have him go down to Orlando to talk to, whomever. All right. Get them on a Zoom call with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. Tell them what is going on. Tell them they're killing the franchise. Not now that hi Kim, not that they care, but something has to give because I don't know anybody who hates the sequel trilogy who does not want to see it go. All right, I don't know anybody, and that's a vast majority of Star Wars fans out there. I don't know anybody who liked all three trilogies. Most of us like the PT and OG. Very few of us now are divided between the PT and the OG. Right? That's what the sequel trilogies did. They united the actual fans. But then we got WDW Pro going in with his divisive crap and swinging his asshole behavior all over the place, and everybody at Midnight's Edge falling for it. Chasing Cameron off, me telling them to go fuck themselves. All right, tolerating bad behavior and just poor attitudes is not what I do. All right, I'm not going to do that. And when I'm policing something and I see someone cocking off just to cock off, they're going to get told to back off or they're going to get gone. Okay. And the problem with what used to be the Fandom Menace is that the big YouTubers, Nerdrotic, cultural or critical drinker, and the rest all know that rage porn sells. And they honestly do believe that they can take down Disney or take down Lucasfilm, but to what end? Dude, the question I want you guys to ask them, do you hate the entire franchise of Star Wars so much that you'd rather burn it to the ground than let them fix it? And if they say, but Disney won't, why wouldn't they? Disney is not one person. It is a company. And the people that have caused the problems have been silenced either by, if you don't shut your fucking mouth, you're fired, or they've been fired, right? So why wouldn't Disney, looking at their stocks, looking at the specter of Nelson Peltz still in some ways, saying, if you go below $80, I'm coming back with another pirate takeover. Why wouldn't Disney want to fix it? I'm going to leave you guys with this. Those people on top at Disney, Josh D'Amaro, probably raised Catholic because he's Italian. Alan Bergman, Jewish. I don't know what Dana Walton is. And I have reservations about her. Do you think all those people that I mentioned are woke? No, they're not. Dana may be because she's a woman in California. But Josh D'Amaro is not. Alan Bergman is not. In fact, I'm going to say this. He was the one that basically showed Steven Soderbergh the books about how bad the sequels did. And he was the one that killed the Ben Solo movie. All right. He was the one that killed the Darth Emo movie. Right? That's what I think. I think Iger said show him, and he did. And Soderbergh walked away saying, they're not going to let us do it. It won't make any money. You know, now the Raylos all think that Adam Driver puts butts in seats. Yeah, all 5 of theirs. And there aren't enough of them to make, $175 million movie worthwhile. Okay. Anyway, I got to go. I just wanted to get this out there. Yes, Kim, the nerdrotic cabal is a cult. They are a cult. I mean, Disney needs to just tell them to fuck off and do it. I mean, and as far as Mando and Grogu is, I want every one of you to buy a ticket and go this weekend to see it. All right. And, $80 million. Okay. What's it going to get in South America? What's it going to get in across the world? I'm going to make a prediction that Mando and Grogu makes $160 million this weekend, or that the weekend it opens. That's what and probably do much better here than they thought. All right. Anyway, I got to go. I just wanted to put this out there because I did a video. I did a video about this. I uploaded it, but we were doing an errand. My husband, we were going on a drive yesterday, and a rock hit between the top of the hood and the wiper blade right at the edge of the windshield and cracked it 9 inches. So we had to get a new windshield. And he had to get the stickers on, and I fucked everything up. All right, so anyway, I gotta go. You guys have a good evening, and I want you to go on those channels and ask them, what do you want? Just ask them. All right. This is Steph signing out. I'll see you around the galaxy.